Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to the Productivity Pod, my podcast, actually. And we are live here in the Boss Productivity Group. I welcome you. It is February 15th, 2021, and we are halfway through quarter 1 already of 2021, if you can believe that. I hope that you guys are getting things done, knocking out some of those projects, and making progress on all the things that you want to do this year because it's going to go by fast. It goes by so fast. So I'm just trying to get on here and make sure I'm live in Facebook because I was running late just a little bit here. and hopefully I'm here. um, All right, so here I am. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Becky. It's good to see you guys. Yes, it's been chilly the last couple of days here too. We had a pretty big snowstorm just like last week, and the snow is finally melted down here, but the mountains are just covered, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So stay tuned. You'll probably see more of my pictures of our beautiful mountains here in Western Nevada. So anyway, so good morning and welcome. I wanted to talk to you guys today about goal setting and how Scrum can really help you with that goal setting. Because if you're working in sprints, I want to ask you. Are you setting a goal for your sprint? Because if you're not setting a goal, then that may be one of the things that's getting you hung up on your in your sprints. You may actually be when you set a goal, it's easier for you to focus on that one thing rather than having all kinds of sporadic things. So right now I want you to look at your current sprint, look at your current Kanban board if you have it, and I want you to set a goal. Now, when we set goals as entrepreneurs, sometimes we have projects going on, sometimes we have continuous improvement type things going on, and then we have our day-to-day tasks. So what I'd like you to focus on is whatever current project you're working on right now. I want you to write in the comments what that project is and what the goal is for the end of this sprint. Where do you want to be for this sprint? Because I think that that's really important, and you saying it out loud to me right now will help a lot in getting you focused so that you really focus your attention on finishing that thing that you said you were going to do, right? Our word means a lot. And if we break our word to ourselves, that's when we start getting into the cycle of, beating ourselves up and being mad and feeling frustrated and all those things, right? And I don't want you guys to feel that way. I want you to feel focused and ready for action each and every day that you get up. That's why the daily scrum is super important. You get up, you look at the things that you need to do, you look at what you completed yesterday and what you want to do today so that you can stay laser focused on just today, right? And remember what your sprint does for you. Your sprint just gives you a smaller collection of things that you need to do to keep you focused just on the next couple of weeks rather than all the things that you need to do year after year and all those amazing ideas coming your way. Instead, we have a little parking lot, right, where we put all those amazing ideas. We put those on our parking lot, which we call our backlog, right? And then those things sit there, and each and every sprint we can go in and reprioritize that parking lot of items to see which ones are the highest priority. And how do we prioritize in Scrum? Who knows it? Who knows it? I'm going to give you a shout out. If you know it, tell me what the prioritization is in Scrum, okay? If you don't know, say, help me, help me. But if you know it, then I want you to say it. What are the 4 rules or the 4 things that we use to prioritize items in Scrum? Okay, so here's one from Facebook user. I'm not sure who it is. Let me see. And complete my freebie opt-in page and get it up and working. Yep, revise email sequence for my new freebie. All right, all right. Those are good goals. Those are good goals. I like it. So basically, your whole goal is to actually get your freebie live, right? So if you just, it's more than just creating a freebie, right? You don't have to just create a freebie. You have to also create the little sales page for it, the thank you page, the email sequence to deliver the freebie. There's all those things that go into it, right? So if you just say, you know, I'm going to create my freebie this time. Well, that's maybe all you're going to get is just your freebie. Then the next one you have to, okay, now I got to create the sales page for the freebie or the opt-in page. Then I have to create the thank you page. Then I have to create the email sequence. So you can see how we tend to generalize in our brains about the things that we have to do. You saw what Anne said. She's got a bunch of things she has to do, right? She's got to finish her freebie, which is a task in itself, right? Might take a few hours, right? And making it pretty and doing the design and getting some images done and all those things that go into just creating that freebie. And then there's the opt-in page, which we have to, make all nice with the hook and all those things that, we know enough to be dangerous about, but still keep trying each and every week, right? To make sure we get it right someday. Because remember, we're trying to work toward a well-oiled machine, right? Continuous improvement. We're staying focused on learning the skills that we need to learn to sell only our one offer ladder. Just that offer ladder, nothing else. We don't focus on all these other ideas that are coming to us. We stay laser focused on our one offer ladder and build out all the pieces that are needed for that one offer ladder until it's making the money that we desire, right? It could be $1 million. It could be $100. It does not matter what it is. We just want to make sure it converts. Okay, so Facebook user says, help me, but somebody else. I knew it was Becky. Good job, Becky. Must have, should have, could have, and won't have at this time. That's how we prioritize, okay? So I wanted to kind of go over what that goal setting means and why it's so important, okay? Because my page is so bright in my face. I'm sorry, it makes my colors weird. Okay, so let's say, I'm going to switch back over. Okay, so let's say that you are going to create a web page, right? Or you're going to create your website. Your website has all kinds of different components to it too. And let's just say you're gonna create a traditional website that has a home page, an about page, a contact us page, and maybe a blog and a shop. Okay. Well, those are 5 things, right? So probably you're not going to get the whole website stood up in a 2-week sprint, right? So now you got to start prioritizing. Which is the ones which ones do you want to work on first? Which ones are the most important? Or you might even choose the easiest ones to stand up first, right? Maybe you stand up your home page just to get the menu going so that you can start creating the other things. Well, that's a task in itself and could take a few hours. So I want you to think about that when you're creating a website. There's so many components to it, right? There's the navigation. There's the footer that has to have some certain things like terms of service and, your policies and procedures or whatever, your policies, your security policy, your privacy policy, all those different things that you have to have. And so when you start making that list, you're going to start seeing some more important ones flow up. Like, you really shouldn't go live with your website until you have a privacy policy in place. Because one of the main things that's going to happen when you go live and somebody visits your website, it's going to throw a cookie onto their computer, right? And that little bar is going to come up that says, hey, we use cookies, yes or no, and that's going to happen. And therefore, you really have to have a privacy policy in place. So that would be a must-have. If you don't have that in place or you don't have a privacy policy yet, let's dive into that. because to me, that's the top priority thing you need for your website, privacy policy. So let's get that done this sprint, right? So what's it going to take to write that privacy policy? Well, in WordPress, I think they still have a wizard that you can download as a plugin that walks you through that privacy policy, but you still have to understand what that stupid privacy policy means, right? And what it's actually telling you. So there might be other items that you have to do, like maybe you need to research privacy policies and what to include in a privacy policy. You might want to research other people's privacy policies and see what they're using, which, by the way, I heard from an attorney that you could just go ahead and copy anybody's privacy policy. There is no such thing as plagiarizing in the law, and you can use their template and and cover all those things. So you want to make sure you pick somebody who's reputable, that's including all the things that you think that need to be included, so that doesn't preclude you from maybe looking up what should be included in a privacy policy. Okay, but you can see how that one thing, if you just said, oh, I need to create that privacy policy, and you didn't think it through about all the components that you need to do, all the things that need to be done for that privacy policy, you might not allot enough time for that thing to be done. You might need a couple of hours to, go do some good research and then get yours written. You might need more than that. You might need 4 hours or 5 hours, or who knows, so it really depends on how far along you already are in the process, and how nervous you are about legal issues, right? So who says that? Oh, Anne says that. So anyway, so you can see how all those things happen. So right now, like, you've got all those day-to-day things that you have to do, right? You've got those. So how many hours does that take you during your 2-week sprint? And then, like, for me, I have to write my my weekly live presentation. I basically frame it out. I create some images. Sometimes I create visuals. Sometimes I write a blog post, and it really just kind of depends on the topic and how much time really that I have to give to it, and how in depth it is. If it's more mindset stuff, or if it's more tactical, that kind of thing. So I have to do all that. That's my weekly stuff. I have to do that each and every week, right? If I don't, I'll get behind, and then I'm in trouble. So that has to come first before I even work on my projects. Then I work on my projects. Now, let's say I'm writing my website and I'm going to work on that privacy policy. How much time left do I have in my sprint to dedicate to that project? So now I may only have, let's say, 5-10 hours, something like that, during the week to really dedicate to that project. I also have, social media I need to do. I've got to meet with my clients. I have to meet with my virtual assistant. I have to meet with my new copywriter. There's all these other things that I have to do as well, right? So I need to make sure that I'm looking at all the things that I have to do, and then weave this project in. So what does that tell me about my project, which is building my website? That I may only be able to take on just that privacy policy this sprint. That might be the realistic goal. Now, if I can get it done and get moving, I might be able to add one more thing. So I might add another component to that project of building my website in my backlog for the sprint. And it might be a could have, right? A could have. If I could have this, if I can get these other things done, then I'd like to get this one done as well. If not, it'll become a won't have, and I'll push it to the next sprint. Okay, so Anne says, that's what usually hangs me up, not listing all the tasks. So I think it takes 30 minutes and get frustrated when it takes 4 hours. It's so true, Anne. It happens all the time. It happens to all of us. That's why project planning is so important. And Anne is a Scrum boss, and we're working on her first project, and her her first part of her funnel. And so we're really getting prepared, and we are writing project charters. We're writing project plans so that she can have all that mapped out before she gets, too deep into the weeds. I mean, she's still framing stuff out as we go, but we're getting it written down so that things don't get forgotten, right? So here's a perfect example of something that gets forgotten. You create a course, right? And you're all excited. You're like, okay, by March 1st, I'm going to have this course ready. It's going to have these 4 units and all this stuff. You map it all out. You get it done. You're racing against the clock to get all the videos done and get it all put into your membership site. And you're done. You're excited. You're like, yes, I finished. Okay, so now what? How are you going to deliver it to the people? How are you going to get it out there and let them know? Now you need a sales page, right? Oh no, I forgot a sales page. Now you need an order form, or if your sales page in your membership site has that, maybe you're lucky there, but you got to create your sales page, which means copy. That's not something you can slap together easy. You need good copy, hooking copy, right? That's going to get somebody to convert. And then you need a thank you page. And then you need a welcome email sequence for when they do purchase that thing. There's all these pieces that you need. And if you don't have those, not that it's the end of the world, but it can delay you on actually getting that thing out there. And so you were thinking in March, you might start making some money, when lo and behold, you forgot to write the stinking sales page. And now you got to go back and do that. It can be so frustrating. Okay, so Anne says, so we work our project around the regular, keep the lights on things, and not the other way around. Yeah, you absolutely have to, because those things, like, especially like you have clients, well, your clients have to come first, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm working on a project, so I'm not meeting with you this week. You can't do that, right? And, I can't say, oh, I'm not going to go live this week. I know you guys are dependent on me being here, but I got other things to do. I can't do that, right? So yeah, you have to work on all those things, weave in your projects. That's why it's really important to have, I always talk about having 3 things that you should have in place for a sprint. One is your day-to-day work that you have in there that you have to do. The other is continuous improvement. Pick one thing that you do on a weekly basis that you could improve on, to make yourself a little bit more efficient, to make it a little bit easier for you, to maybe you create a template or a cheat sheet, or you create a workflow so that you can workflow yourself through something a little bit easier without clunking through something, right? Just for example, like my process of writing, preparing for my live every week. Each and every week I try to tweak it and improve it. I've tried some things that didn't work for me. And so I'm still in this tweaking process to, get it so it's light and I don't take as much time, but I'm getting maximum output for it. My goal is to be able to write a blog post each and every week along with my live that supports my live. So I have that. I'm not there yet. I get blog posts out once in a while, but I don't always get a blog post out because I just run out of time. And so, but the blog for me is a could have, right? It's a nice to have. I don't have to have a blog to run my business. It would be nice, and it would help because it gives me more feelers out there, right, to attract people, right? But I don't always get it together enough to write like a full finished copy of a blog post. So my blog post draft that I write to prepare for this goes into my backlog. And maybe after I'm retired, I can, add one in where I just start going through and, editing those, getting them ready, and then publish them. So it's not wasted. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? It's not wasted. Like, I'm not just tossing those drafts away. I'm putting them on a backlog so that later when I have more time, I can go back through, edit that, and get it out on my blog. It's not lost. And that wouldn't take as long as having to rewrite it. So if I happen to have a couple of hours during, a week, or when I retire in July, woohoo, from my 9 to 5. I actually set a date. I'm super excited. July 9th is my last day at my 9 to 5. So I set my date. I'm super excited. I should see some fire coming from you guys. Like, I set a date. I'm so excited. Um, so that's exciting. So, that's progress. And those are the things, those are the little victories, right? That we get to have. It's like, okay, we got this thing running. We got this going. We're making money. We're showing our potential. We are making improvements. And once you start getting into that, it's like the engine gets running finally. And now you're like, okay, I'm going down this road. I'm going down this road, and I know that nothing is going to stop me except myself now, right? And I could go slow down this road. I don't have to go fast, racing at 90 miles an hour. I can go slow. I can go 5 miles an hour. I can go 40 miles an hour. I can stop and move away the obstacles instead of just running them over. There's all those things. So I want you to look at the journey itself. And instead of just focusing on the end result, like, oh, I got to make, a 6-figure, we hear that so much, a 6-figure company or business or whatever. We hear that so much. Instead of focusing on that, I want you to focus on the journey and enjoy the journey. And that's one of the beauties about project management and learning good project management, and even Scrum, is you get to enjoy this little sprint, the 2 weeks that you have to work on your business and work on things that matter and work on things that could be super fun. And yeah, you're going to have some pain points and things like that you don't like to do. And that's where team building will come in later. But that's where project management comes in really handy, guys, because that's where you do those things and maybe you clunk through, but you write out some policies and procedures and standards that you want to follow so that when you do hire somebody, you have that already in place so that you can say, this is how we do things. This is where we store our output, all the documents, all the stuff that we create, we store it here. And this is the standard of quality that you must meet in order for this thing to be considered done or ready to go. And then you're going to go through a continuous improvement cycle to keep improving it. It's not a done is done, right? It's done is done in terms of done is ready to deploy. That doesn't mean it's done forever. You're going to go back through, you're going to look at the metrics, you're going to keep improving. So I encourage you to just be fearless. That doesn't mean you have to be fast and furious, right? You just be fearless and you go 5 miles an hour or you go 50 miles an hour, whatever you choose. Thank you. So happy for me. I appreciate that. I'm super excited and happy too. Okay, I'm usually my own worst enemy, thinking I need to do it all right now. Scrum is helping me so much to plan my work and build the foundation and not think I have to do it all today. And that is so true because, here's the thing. You're going to always have millions of projects lined up. Well, maybe not millions, but I work in an IT shop. I've worked in IT for 25 years. And in IT, we have like literally hundreds of projects that are coming our way. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are bug fixes, but every single one of them has to be addressed individually. You can't just like grab a broom and sweep them and, sweep them through like, a dirty floor. You have to look at each one individually, determine the level of effort. Well, first you got to look at what the solution is and then determine the level of effort and determine whether or not you need full requirements for that thing or not. If you need requirements because you don't know what they need, and trust me, I know this. I have a good story. So one time we were looking for some work for one of the guys on my team, and he needed some work. And so I went to the person who managed all of our work that was coming in, and I said, I just need a few quick things, like some bug fixes that we can do, maybe that we don't need to do requirements. So she went through the list and she found a couple of things that she thought were simple in nature and that would be easy for us as developers to just be able to fix without going through requirements. So my guy did his stuff. He did his work and he got the thing fixed and he got it out there. And when it got out there, they're like, oh no, we can't have it do this. It can't do that. This is all wrong. And so we had to roll that code back because why? We didn't talk to the product owner, right? We didn't talk to the customer. We didn't ask them what they needed and what they meant by that document that they did. So that's what I'm talking about is, we got to take a minute to look at what the requirements are. When you look at what the requirements are, then you realize all the pieces that need to be in place in order for you to do this thing. And so that's why I really encourage you to go through in your mind the workflow for everything that you're going to create. What's the workflow? Okay, you're going to create a freebie. How are they going to get to the freebie? How are they going to know about the freebie? Well, you're going to probably have to at least email your list. You might want to make some Facebook posts to get it out there. You might even create a blog post to get it out there so people know that it exists, right? And then on the other end of that freebie, well, actually, before they even get to that freebie, you've got to have that opt-in page. You've got to have, a thank you page that says, hey, thanks, check your email because it's coming. Your email will be here, so be sure to whitelist me, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? And then you want to have some sort of welcome series that's going to invite them into the Facebook group that you have and all the different things that you want to do. Maybe you even are ready to upsell them to a product. And so you want to have that funnel all ready to go so that you can get that going. But you can't get it all done at once. I don't have all of my pieces in place yet, and I've been at this for more than a year. But that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying my business. That doesn't mean I'm not earning some income. That doesn't mean I'm not seeing down the road further and knowing that my business will be here because I am methodically and consistently working on improving it each and every week, each and every sprint, quarter by quarter, year by year. That's it. That's my commitment to my business. So I want you to say it right now that you are committed to your business. You're committed to continuous improvement, and you're going to start looking at your sprint and all the things you have to do, and you are going to set a goal. Now, you could have a couple goals. Your one goal is, I'm going to get through my daily tasks in a half an hour less this week than I normally do, or my weekly tasks. The next goal might be, I'm going to do one thing that improves my processes and how I do things. I'm going to build a cheat sheet or a template or come up with a workflow that helps me remember all the steps that I need to do this thing, whatever it is, something. And then I'm going to make progress on my project. And very specifically, I'm going to work on this thing, like my about page. My about page might need wireframing. I need to look at other people's about pages. I need to write my about page copy. I need to see what other people are putting in their about page copy, right? So there's already 4 or 5 things. Are you going to have enough time in this sprint to do all those, or do you need to prioritize and then spread it over 2 sprints or 3 sprints? Okay, does that make sense, you guys? And do you see how freeing that is? It's like you're still making progress. You're still going forward. If you tried to jam it all into one sprint, and then you get frustrated because you can't finish it and you just give up, well, that stinks because then you're not getting anywhere, right? Or if you just make progress on those little things and you make them milestones and you set goals for yourself where you're like, woohoo, I reached my goal. I wrote my sales copy, or I wrote my my about page copy. It's all ready. I just need to wireframe it. I need to do this, and then I'll be done with that project. And that's already planned for next sprint. Like, it's so much more freeing. And I just feel like when you do those things and you're just a little bit more structured with what you're doing, you're going to enjoy your business so much more. Whether you're making $1 or $1,000,000, don't you want to enjoy your business? Otherwise, you just go get a job and work for somebody else, right? I want you to enjoy your business. And so I want you to think first and foremost about, what can I do this week that will help me enjoy my business? That will help me enjoy the journey that I'm on and the place I'm at right now in my journey. And then you focus on those things and you focus on the parts that are pain points, right? That are pain points right now in your journey. What are the pain points that you're having right now in your journey? Not the ones that you're foreseeing for the future or this. I'm having pain points right now with making sure that I get, my live content done. I work with my clients and I'm trying to produce a couple of mini courses. Those are some pain points for me that are real, that I have to figure out how to balance. And so you're going to have those things too, right? And so that's why we just start creating mini goals in our sprints. We create a sprint goal. So then when you get done with that sprint, you've achieved that goal and you're like, yeah, bring it on. I can knock out the next goal. I can knock out the next one and the next one. All right. So Becky says, I'm committed. Anne says, I am committed to complete my goals for this week. Woohoo! Me too. Me too. I'm so looking forward to it. All right. All right. I'm looking forward to it, guys, because I'm going to tell you that I'm gonna ask you next week how you did and how you did on those goals. Are you committed? Are you gonna do it? Because I'm gonna ask you next week. Did you make your goals? All right, everybody. So I hope that helps you understand how sprint goals work and that you're getting those mini goals, right? And I was gonna do a scenario on Facebook, like Facebook just changed their they have a Scrum. They have several Scrum teams, and this might actually help you really quick before I go. Facebook has lots of Scrum teams because Scrum teams, they are focused on a project usually, right? But we're just one person, so I kind of adapted it for us. But let's say this one Scrum team is working on Facebook groups, and their current project within the Facebook group is they are changing the units section over to this thing called guides, right? Well, there's a bunch of stuff that they have to do. There's probably database changes. There's all the data. They've got to convert that data over to the new. Just because it's a word change doesn't mean it's not a big change in the back end, right? And it must be because they've lost all my work. My unit section is gone. My guide section is there, but all you can see are the titles. You can't click on them, anything to get to them. So it's broken. So knowing IT, I know that they probably will get it fixed soon, and I've reported it. But how frustrating. I could be in a total panic right now, like, oh my God, all my stuff is gone. Well, luckily for me, I create backups of everything that I do. And I put, my videos on YouTube and everything so that I have backups. And I keep them locally in my filing system. So I have a backup of everything. So keep that in mind. But the point is, their sprint goal probably is to get those guides working, right? So get it working for everybody on all platforms all across the world. Well, that's a pretty big undertaking. And it should just be, a few lines of code, but my suspicion is they have several versions of the Facebook platform, like many versions, depending on region and all that stuff. And so it has to be changed everywhere. And so it just takes time for them to get all that done, right? But you can see how they would have this sprint goal of getting the guides. It's very focused. It's not, okay, we're going to fix all of Facebook group. No, we're not going to fix all of Facebook group. We're focusing on this one thing, right? The guides, the units to guides. That's the one thing we're focusing on. So that's what I'm trying to get you to do, is think about your bigger picture and then break it down into things that you can actually accomplish in a sprint. And don't forget your daily work. Don't forget your daily work, because if you don't plan for that, then you're going to get caught, right? Where you're on a deadline and you're not enjoying yourself. The goal is to enjoy your business, right? All right, you guys, Scrum for life. Let's do this. I'll see you guys in the comments. Don't forget, it is mid-quarter, quarter one. So if you are not where you want to be sure to contact me. I've got a great program going on, and we are so excited, you guys, about what's happening now. I've brought on this copywriter, and she's not just a copywriter coach, although she's doing a huge bonus course for Scrum Boss Academy members on how to write great conversion copy. And I'm so excited about that. But she's actually going to wireframe out your sales page and write your copy for you based on data. It's so exciting. And if you are interested in getting in on that, you can, DM me, or, you can always set an appointment with me. My appointment thing is, where is it? Here it is, ybcc.setmore.com, ybcc.setmore.com. You can always set an appointment with me if you want to talk about your business and how my program can help you guys, because my program is all about project management. It does not matter what your niche is. We just keep knocking out project after project. And I'm so excited about the new things that I'm offering in Scrum Boss Academy. And I also offer one-on-one and intensives and all kinds of stuff. So please reach out. Don't suffer anymore. If you're really struggling, reach out. Let's have a clarity call and see what's going on with your business and see how we can help. Okay? All right, you guys. We'll see you in the comments, and have an awesome, awesome week. Okay?